Track and field, a sport about endurance and strength. This year has provided many hardships with the ongoing pandemic. Coach Brandon Bangel shared his opinions on last season's cancellation and his thoughts on the upcoming spring.
It's been difficult because students have been on the hybrid schedule and they haven't been here as much. So I will say we are quite a bit behind where we have been in previous years in terms of our conditioning right now. So we're having to modify some things that we've done here early on in the season to accommodate for that. So we're kind of taking things a little bit more slowly. One thing that actually works into our advantage is we're not going to have very many indoor meets this year because of the amount of people that are in one facility at the same time. So that gives us a little bit more time to get prepared, which this year works out well because we're going to need the extra time to be ready. Part of what we do, we encourage all of our athletes to take our weightlifting class. We lift weights a couple times a week after practice is over. Obviously in the throwing events, it's very, very critical, but really it's just as important for our sprinters and our jumpers as well. So we put a big emphasis on the weight room year-round for our track athletes. The biggest thing that we're trying to do is obviously keep kids as socially distant as possible, and we try to keep them with their event groups. So we used to, in the locker room, kids could choose any locker they wanted. This year they're grouped by their event group. That way the throwers, if somebody were to contract COVID-19, if we had to quarantine, it would only be the throws group. So we're much more separated than we have been in years past. So that's a big part, obviously wearing the mask all the time, unless we're really running something hard. And now that the weather's started to get a little warmer, we're gonna be outside as much as we possibly can because obviously that's gonna reduce the risk of any transmission.
After last season's cancellation, you can probably assume that runners and throwers' motivation to go another season can be down. We asked Coach Bangel if he thinks that the pandemic has affected his runners and his throwers.
Yes, I do. I think that missing out on last season, it's kind of two different things have happened. Number one, unfortunately, we have lost some athletes. I think with the hybrid learning model, and some kids chose to graduate early, and some kids it's a weird time. Some kids have chosen to go to work and things like that. So we have lost some of our seniors, which is unfortunate. But I think for the kids that are at track, and now that we're going, and we've been going for about a week now, they're really excited to be there, and they're excited to have some level of normalcy again. And that's good because this year has been very challenging for everybody for a variety of different reasons. And I think getting back to normal is the best thing that we can do. And we're excited to see what happens here the rest of the season.